Okay, today's demonstration is how to create a full scale in pen and ink using quill pen. Most important part is learning how to hold your quill pen. So if you're doing this from home, just make sure that you recreate a scale of 7 steps. First step being just straight weight number 1. Hold the scoop so the scoop part is down. So you're going to hold it like you hold a pencil, except you're going to drag toward the palm of your hand with the scoop facing down. A lot of students make this mistake and they hold their pen sideways and then they don't get lines. The other mistake that happens all the time is that students work with a dirty pen. So you need a wet and a dry paper towel so you can just clean off your pen and make sure that nobody left you ink on your pen. Okay, so let's get started. You're going to dip your pen in the ink and make sure you don't flood your pen, and then start in step 2 and make random dots. Repeat what you did in step 2, add a few more. Repeat what you did in step 3 to step 4, add a few more. I'm going to show you what not to do. What you don't want to do is stipple in rows like this. Lots of students make that mistake, and that tends to look like almost like a line design. Okay. Another thing that you don't want to do is rush. If you rush through it, I will have you do a new scale of hairs. So when students rush, lots of times they get that. Also, they put too much pressure. If you put too much pressure, then you'll get too much ink. So the best part about why we use pen and ink is the more pressure we add, the wider the slit on our pen becomes, which gives us tons of line variation. And we all know in Art Survey how important line variation is, right? So in a drawing, we can use that to our advantage. But when we're creating subtle, non-distracting stippling, we don't want to have really dark marks. That's more of a texture. So if you're using this to create some kind of like stubble texture on a guy's beard, then it works out great. But for regular shading stippling, it's not so great, if that makes sense. And you keep going darker and darker until you get to a step 7, which basically what you're doing is creating circular patterns of little tiny specks. Okay, and for the demonstration, I'm not going to shade the entire box because it would be boring to watch. Okay, me shade this whole scale. But stippling is the most time consuming, which is why we have a smaller area to stipple, but you have the most control. Line design is created when we create a line, a texture mark on paper. Don't recreate the one here because just be a little bit more inventive. I'll do tree bark. And what you're going to do is recreate that line already made with varying spaces in between. Okay. And you get your marks closer and closer. Please do not make straight lines or make, like this doesn't count, the straight lines, or this. It'd be nice if it varied a little bit, just a little bit more more interesting. And as you go, you can alter and perfect whatever design you're trying to create. And just make sure as you go your lines are closer together. Until you get over here. And then you fill more lines in. Hard thing is you don't want your lines in your step 7 to cross. If you rush, your lines could cross each other. Now that I've had some practice in my, I said tree bark, but I was thinking like wood texture. It looks more like wood texture. And then I would be ready to apply this to a piece if I wanted to. Okay. So I'm going to try to get really, really close. Without touching, or without crossing. Touching is okay, that'll happen. But, okay. Now on to my favorite and fastest, cross-hatching. Okay? Cross-hatching is like crazy tic-tac-toe symbols. Okay? When you're shading, however, a three-dimensional form, which you'll learn when we come back from break, you follow the cross-contour lines of the form to create your cross-hatching, and it makes your form stronger. The three-dimensionality of your form stronger, which is really fun. Okay, but more. Look at how fast it is. And so why do we practice this? Because when you're starting out, your hatch marks are not confident. So after a while, after much practice, you do this without even thinking about it. Until finally you get to your step 7. Look at how like really tight those spaces are. But look at how slow I have to go. Kind of interwoven. And many students find this relaxing and meditative. And take it from there. The mistake that people make with cross-hatching is this. They rush, and then they come back over, and it ends up being kind of a mess like that. And they go back and forth with their lines and make a scribble. So these are the things not to do. Okay, so relax, enjoy, and have fun with practicing pen and ink. Before you put your quill pen back, you just want to clean it with your damp paper towel. While you're working, always leave your open ink on a dry paper towel, because if it spills, it will get all over you and stain your clothes permanently, forever, unfortunately. But that'll help. It'll help absorb some of the mess if you somehow spill. Okay.